welcome to another Well Women Wednesday. I'm the founder of the Women Entrepreneur Leadership Lab, and founder and executive director of She's Well Network, the nonprofit that helps us move our work forward through the network, the Well. So I'm here today with one of our members, a new member, new-ish member. She's almost 6 months in as a member, but also almost 6 months in to being on her journey as a business owner. She is about 20-year corporate exec, like all steeped in the corporate world. She was in an HR exec at some of the biggest companies in the world. She's a wife, she's a mom. She's from Maryland. She likes to claim Baltimore. We're going to take her in as an honorary Baltimorean. Good friend of mine since college. I'm really excited that I get to be on this journey with you now on this side of things. Back then, we were focused on getting those corporate jobs, and now we are focused on building these legacies and businesses. So I am here today with Bernice Ramsey, who is the founder of Something New and also co-founder of Collective Spaces. We're going to get into all of that, what all of that means, and how she is building a brand, doing things she loves. Bernice, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So
And
excited.
congratulations. Like that first year is scary and
Yeah.
crazy and all the things, and you're doing so many amazing things right now. And, being a mom of really little babies and, all of that, being a wife of a busy corporate exec and all of that. So really, really just excited for you, proud of you, and happy to have you here. What did I not share about you that the people should know before we start?
I'm tired. No, just kidding. No, I think you covered it. Wife, mommy, new uh, businesswoman, just now stepping. We're coming up almost to a year now since making
Wow.
the decision to leave corporate America and try to bet on myself. Um,
Wow.
so, I had to think about it over the weekend. I was like, oh, it was like May 26th was that
Wow.
it was
Oh, really? Wow. That's
yeah,
so
it
it
was
is. So it's a year. So it's a year. Wow. So how are you feeling? Let's start with that. Happy 1 year
thank you.
entrepreneur anniversary. And let's just start with lessons and reflections on 1 year.
Uh,
And I'm sure you did some reflecting over the weekend. What have you learned so far? What are you grateful for? What are you like about?
I'm grateful for the journey. I will say that a year ago, I had a mix of emotions where, I was scared, but then I was also, I don't know if the right word is probably like, I felt like I was disappointing the folks
Mhm.
around me, even though I really wasn't. Reflecting back on it, I wasn't disappointing anyone. But I felt like, who were you to make this selfish decision to step away from something that's very stable in being in a corporate job, working for these big companies, and taking a chance when you have, at the time, I had a 4-month-old baby, a 5-year old. And I'm like, mommy's gonna go try to do this thing and be on her own. But then it was kind of like, you don't have any other moment to do this. Like,
Mhm.
you're in the moment,
Mhm.
be present, take a chance. You have created, backup plans because I'm type A, okay, very risk averse. So I
Mhm.
got to think through, okay, little markers in the sand that said, at this point, you're going to check in. Where are you? What's the criteria? And then how are you going to move forward? Are you going to continue to push and continue down this entrepreneurship, path? Or are you going to go? And it's not that it's giving up, right? You tried it, you learned from everything. Are you going to go back to corporate? Like, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
And so I was telling someone over the weekend that marker in the sand was actually March of this year,
Mm.
where my husband and I was like, okay, what are we doing? What have we
Mhm.
accomplished? Oh,
Mhm.
so let's continue. You know,
Mm.
have another marker at the end of the year.
Mm.
Say like, okay, we can't quite give up on this, but what are we going to do to supplement some of the things?
Yeah.
Um, I am grateful for it because it has allotted me um, the space to be more present for my children. I've always said that I want to be available emotionally for my kids because I realized my oldest doesn't do transitions very well. I realized that I wanted to spend more time with my second than I did with my oldest because I was working and I was traveling and I was doing all the things. We had a nanny with my first when he was first born. So I just remember when I was younger, I don't have a lot of memories with my mom because my mom worked a lot. And
Mhm.
I want to be present for my kids. And lo and behold, I had this opportunity to not to say that I work less hours. It's just I have more autonomy to manage
Yeah.
my time appropriately so that I can say, no, I need to stop. I need to go to the school for this. Or heck, for example, today, Marco needed something. Okay, let me drop what I'm doing and go get the things and drive it to the school. Where,
Yep.
when you're
Yep.
working corporate, is like, it's so hard to just be a parent or just
Yeah.
take care of yourself. Like you said earlier and you tell us all the time, find 3 hours for yourself a week. It's easier for me to say, no, I'm going to go get that massage on Monday and I'm getting my nails done on Friday. And then I'm going out with my friend Shay on Wednesday. Like that's what we're doing. And I don't
Yep.
have to respond anyway. So I'm really grateful for where we are today. We've made way more strides than we thought we were gonna. We're in a
Mm.
totally different place than we thought we were gonna be at this time.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's
That's
really.
amazing. So how did you celebrate?
Oh, I mean, it was Memorial Day weekend. We enjoyed, ate crabs. Had
Yeah.
talked to friends. We actually went out on a date. My husband and I. We
Oh,
got
awesome.
a babysitter.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that this first time we had like someone other than my mother-in-law or my mom watching the kids. So it
Yeah.
actually felt good. And we ended up coming home early and we didn't know what to do with ourselves because she got them in the bed and we're even the little one who doesn't go to sleep early was asleep. And we're like, what are
Oh,
we doing?
wow.
So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I
That
was
is,
gonna do other things to commemorate the year, but we're taking our time and we're trying to make the right decisions and
yeah,
exercise the
that's
right.
incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, 20 years, nearly 20 years in corporate America, you decide to leave and jump into this realm of entrepreneurship. I gathered some of your why being wanting to be a more present parent than you had been. That was certainly a part of my why. And what I learned though pretty early is like, my natural like ambition and desire to like achieve, succeed, or took over, kicked in when I decided I didn't start a business to like build some like massive big thing. I started a business as a lifestyle choice, which was that I want to own my I have autonomy over myself and my time, my body. And I wanted to be able to make decisions that were best for me and my family. And so that's why I started my business. But I think there's some natural drive, whatever kicks in. How are you finding, the balance between like what your desire originally was and like what you're doing? And also has the desire shifted a bit in the what you're pushing towards shifted from what you originally set out to do?
I think that the what I at the core of what I want to do has stayed the same, right? Like I've always been this person that wants to create opportunities for folks, create space for folks, and in this case it's physical space. um, but more it was, in the beginning it was safe space because I wanted to pursue coaching while I figured out the event space world, which we can talk about, which are different types of space as I mentioned. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
How has your desire like shifted from like, oh, I want to be a more present mother, I want to make more space for myself, my family, to like, are you now like, oh, I want to like take over the world? And how are you just balancing that
Also,
natural,
okay.
natural ambition with like what you intended when you went into this world?
Yeah, like, and I think where I was going down the path is like my intentions are still the same, right? But I have to be agile in terms of when what opportunities are presented, and whether I'm going to be like stubborn and say no, I want to do this one thing, or whether I'm going to say okay, I'm going to move in a different direction. So I wanted to coach, but coaching, I had to remember why I wanted to bring coaching into the portfolio of things that I was doing. I was like, oh, I need something to do while I figure out event space, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
event space, you know, started to move quicker than we thought. Then it was easier for me to be like, well, the prize or the original goal was this, and so if
Mm-hmm.
opportunities to move in this direction,
Mm-hmm.
then we need to move. If things are starting to fall in order, we need to move in that direction.
Yeah.
And not care about how people view that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, well, do you look scatterbrained because you said you were going to do this and all of a sudden you're doing this and you want to do that? And it's like, I need to be confident in what it is that I've set out to do. In addition, I will say that my husband has been a great sounding board to me throughout the process, which I thank God and I pray about all the time, is that he'll just drop little nuggets every now and then. Like, have you considered that? What do you think
Mm-hmm.
of that? And I've been listening to what he's been sharing, and he hasn't steered me wrong. We've been, very successful with the balance of staying true to your purpose and what you believe in, and then also being open to feedback from others. I might
Yep.
marinate on it a little bit,
Yep.
and I'm okay with the decision that I make at the end of the day. So it's just a combination of knowing my values, my purpose, prayer, and then listening to my husband.
I like it. It's good to have wise counsel,
Oh
a
yeah,
great partner. So you've hinted at, what you're doing and spoke a little about it, but you haven't quite like just named it clearly. So what is your business, and what do you do? Who do you do it for?
and so my business is Collective Spaces, which is an event venue that's opening up in like a month or so in downtown Baltimore. And the original premise behind Collective Spaces is to create spaces that promote innovation and creativity. It's called Collective Spaces, not Collective Space, because of the fact that our goal is to have a number of spaces throughout Maryland, and
Mm-hmm.
each space kind of cater to that area that we're in or whatever we see the need is. And so in our bill, and that would include eventually, cross our fingers, toes, and prayers, some co-working opportunities as well. The building we're in right now has a co-working space in it already, so we're not able to provide those services per se. But we'll still try to cater to providing beautiful space for business meetings, networking opportunities, in addition to your milestones events, your weddings, your retirement parties, and things to that nature.
Your
Um,
launch parties.
Launch parties.
But
Um,
that's really cool that there is a co-working space already in that one, with that one being your first one, because you have an audience for your event space already housed in that building. And it's a very natural. Hopefully you all are thinking partnership and collaboration with them so that you can, learn some things from them in the co-work space, so
yeah,
that for your next one you have some insights, but also be able to tap into that audience that is right there in that building and not have to build it.
right there in the building. We also
That's
have University of Maryland's in the building.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Opportunity to be there. And that's what I was saying earlier, where, we were told to give ourselves about 2 years to find the right space and the right location. And so when this came about, He was like, you'd be dumb to let this go. Just, I mean, we can talk like,
Yeah, just figure it out. Say yes and figure it out.
right. And that's what our
Yeah.
lawyer was like, you need to grab this, figure the rest
Mm-hmm.
out. He was like, you're not going to see anything like this again.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's where I had to pivot, and I was comfortable with the pivot that I made. Now with coaching, that's called my business called Something New, and that's after a scripture. It's Isaiah 43:19, and it's like, for I have done, for I'm about to do something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's the beginning of the scripture. And when I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what it is, that the period that I was in my life and what was going on and who I wanted to service, it was those folks that are going through some type of transition in their
Mm-hmm.
lives. So I've mostly been chatting with women that are in corporate America, that are millennials, who are just trying to navigate, whether it's becoming a mom and balancing being, a mom in corporate America and climbing up the ladder, or, hey, I just became a leader for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The folks that I'm leading used to be my peers. And
Mm-hmm.
just the politics and the red tape of corporate America can be really hard because you don't see anyone that looks like you that can give you a listening ear, or they look like you, but we're not all on the same page.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you create a safe space for folks to kind of just brainstorm and talk through scenarios. And I'm really a person that tries to be authentic. I try to bring a balanced um, perspective to the conversation. And so my and then I also do some business consulting, just tapping into 20 years of HR. My background is mostly HR ops, HR program project management, governance type work, team operations, right? And so bringing all of that to the forefront, because I take for granted that, some things that come natural to me in terms of like operations and project management, everyone's not like that. Um,
Yeah.
and then coming from the big companies that I've worked in, it's like, it's just a way of life. And
Yeah.
stepping out of that, there are way more folks who are not accustomed to that type of work ethic that
Yeah.
can benefit from the skill set that I have, or like the skill sets that you have, and being able to tap into that on my own terms.
So what's really cool is that, sort of you have your bigger vision, which is collective spaces, and you're growing, you plan to grow that and, across the state, as you said. But then what your plan was, your transition plan was like using your knowledge, skill set, expertise to be able to supplement and do some things under your own personal brand, or even other brands that you've created, to be able to make money, to make ends meet, or whatever, while you are building this larger, more like focused legacy body of work. And that's really, really awesome. Did you start out that way, or it was this iterative that you kind of like got here? Did you go in knowing that that was the plan, or yeah, did you kind of iterate to it?
No, I didn't start off with, like, for example, saying, okay, Bernice Ramsey, I want Bernice Ramsey to be a brand. I didn't start that way. I did start off with, my consultant Innocent Solutions. And then folks would always say, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do? And I thought that I would just put it under my consulting hat. And then I just figured, oh, consulting could mean anything. And we're just, whatever it is, we'll just add another branch.
Mhm.
And I always felt a little, um, scatterbrain. Like, it made
Mhm.
sense to me, but I felt like outwardly people were just like, what the heck? She just does all these things.
That's a theme, Bernice. That's a theme. And
So listen,
I'll say something on that when you finish, but go for it.
listen. So then it wasn't until last summer, um I was I was just perusing like the internet, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna have these different businesses, like they're all separate. And then I thought to myself, okay, it would be really random if I am having a conversation with you and I'm saying, "Oh, what business? Oh, go to this site for this, and then go to this site for that." Or here's a business card for this,
Mm-hmm.
for that, or just have a business card with a bunch of stuff on it. So I thought to myself, "Oh, I should buy BerniceRamsey.com."
Mm-hmm.
And it would have my bio and it would talk about all my skills and how to get in contact with me for different things. So that was
Mm-hmm.
that like randomly came to me in the summertime. I remember asking a friend, like, what do you think about me buying BerniceRamsey.com? And they were just like, why would you want to do something like that?
No, I've read somewhere everybody should own their name as a
They own their
domain.
name, right?
I've
And
heard that. But also like your intent was to be able to leverage your skills and, your expertise to so that it created space for you to do the next bigger thing, or was your intent originally to really like build a consulting or build a business around your skill set? Was it always a means to an end, or was it originally the end
I was always trying to figure out a business to my skill set.
to your skill set? As a
That's
means to an end, or to build around you for the long haul?
for the long haul
For
is
the
where,
long haul. So
yeah.
now, so it's evolved then a bit, because now you are using it to supplement, but it is not your end game. Your end game is that bigger legacy, by your family business
Yeah.
now, which is collective spaces.
Yeah, we talked about how that is something we want to pass down to the children.
Yeah.
Want.
Yeah.
We're not going to shove it down their throats, but my oldest is talking about how he wants to build buildings and do
Oh
construction.
wow.
Wants to. So I've taken him to the meetings with the architects and
Yeah.
shown him the drawings of the space and things of that nature. And if that's something what he wants to do, then there is a space for us to carve out for him. I
Yeah.
mean, year old, we're not too sure yet, but and then expanding it too, because originally my brother-in-law was in part of the conversations, but we're in different places in life now.
Yeah.
So he's been helping me on the outskirt, but I think there is a world where if we get to another building, maybe he's more involved there,
Yeah. Yeah.
his skill set to the forefront, because he's a hell of a salesman.
Oh,
Just,
awesome. Awesome.
so we're
Awesome.
yeah.
That's amazing that, sort of this bigger vision has unfolded. And in the meantime, you still can do those other things that, support, that supplement, that keep you sane, whatever the case, but you've got this bigger vision. And I think that a lot of, like a lot of people take for granted the things that, are their skills that they could like utilize to like be able to supplement and do what it is that they need to do, and have the space, still have the freedom, the autonomy over themselves, while they focus on and build the bigger vision. When you were speaking about, you mentioned twice this whole like, yeah, I didn't want people to feel like I was scattered or whatever the case. And I saw a post, I don't know, it was a couple of days ago, and I don't even remember who posted it, but it was someone saying that, oh, I do know who posted it. But she was saying, yeah, like first you open this, and now you open a restaurant, and then people wondering like, what do you do? And it was talking about people who are multi-gifted,
Yes.
and how people who are multi-gifted can do multiple things and do multiple things, and that it's not a matter of not being focused, right? Like it can be a matter of, I've I'm creating lanes in space. And so that's really cool. But it's also cool that you are how clear you are on what is the main thing and what is the thing that is a mechanism, a vehicle, a support to like the main thing. So congratulations on that amount of clarity in 1 year, 1 year in business, ladies and gentlemen.
And you know
And
what?
so
Those other things can actually help the bigger thing too, right? Because there's a part of for collective spaces through this journey and meeting folks, through the well and meeting folks in the community where folks want to do something similar. And this could be an offline conversation, but folks want to do similar things. And how do you
yeah,
create space for
yeah,
those folks who want to do the same thing, open up their own event space, but they don't have a safe space to do so and ask their
yeah,
questions? Because
yeah.
I've tried to ask all the questions and got all types of reactions, right?
Hmm.
Part of me wants to take that coaching hat
Mm.
and then create, okay,
Hmm.
a group of folks that are learning, that are shadowing, you
Yeah.
are getting the little tidbits on
Yep.
how to get started, and
Yep.
along the way, support. And
Yep.
maybe it's a subset of something else or whatever, but I can utilize those skills
Yeah.
to pull into collective spaces as well.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So you've got multiple hats on, you've got multiple things going on. We are also focusing our operations domain in the well. So I always try to ask a question that is connected to whichever domain we are in. So, what are some of the resources, the tools, the ways in which you keep yourself together? You have your operation straight when you have, you're wearing multiple hats.
So like basic tools, like tools that I use. One, a Microsoft Outlook girl. And I bring all of my, like I have an account for each one of my businesses. I have a personal account. I also have a joint account with my husband. And so we have Microsoft, I use Microsoft. Well, we actually have a Microsoft 360 as a family. And I use that to see all my emails in one place, my calendar in one place. That's on the desktop, but on my phone, I use Gmail and Google and all that stuff to see everything together. I use Asana from a project management perspective, and that's syncs to my Google Docs and Google Drive as well. I use it more than just project management. I've used Asana for a number of years, or something like Trello. I used that when I was at Lockheed. And so, for example, for tracking grants and things like that, I have a grant tracker that I created for myself in Asana. And I have,
Mhm.
it in list mode, or list view. So just to keep myself on track, I try to use those tools to the best of their ability, even for
Yeah.
meeting agendas and things of that nature. Um,
You
so
also told me about some automations that you put in place, realizing that, as you're planning for opening the space, like how important
Mhm.
automation would be to like move you out of certain areas of that.
So for my event space, I'm using HoneyBook, which a lot of consultants use.
Hmm.
Starting to expand outside of just freelancers and consultants. And so I've been leveraging their automation so that if someone goes to my website, for example, there's already a HoneyBook lead form. It doesn't look like HoneyBook to you, it just looks like a contact form. And then once you put in your inquiry, I have it set up 30 minutes to 40 minutes later. It's going to send you an email with like my pricing list and all the things so that you can take a look on your own accord. And then I have questions at the bottom like, hey, are you interested in moving forward, or do you need more time, or are you not interested? So it'll tell me, how to move forward with you and in
Yeah.
your inquiry. So I'm trying to figure out all the ways that I can leverage automation for that. And then I learned through the well about Metricool. And so Metricool pulls in all of my social media,
Mm.
TikTok, Facebook, YouTube,
I haven't
IG.
heard of that. You learned that in EEGP?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So
Shout out to our early entrepreneur growth program. I
yeah,
didn't listen, you all get all the jewels in those sessions because I hear stuff from every cohort that one of these coaches has shared. And I'm like, wait, what is that?
that
Um,
that's a good one, because you can create your content, and then what I've been leveraging the most is it'll tell you based on social media platform when most of your followers are online. And
mm,
so I used to think, oh, I'm gonna post every Monday at 3. And I took a look, and there was a day where it's like 100% of your people are going to be on at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And I was like,
oh wow.
go on 4 o'clock on Thursday. What am
Yeah, wow, wow, wow.
I
No,
out and
I look, I jotted that down on it,
on it?
on it, on it, on it. That's
You
so cool, the idea that
Yeah, it does it and you have to pay a premium for LinkedIn though. But
Okay.
it's been very, very helpful. And sometimes I like, oh, people are probably judging I'm not doing the same thing on a regular basis. But I'm like, no, I'm looking at the data and I'm doing what
Yeah.
it's telling me.
Yeah.
So those,
Don't worry about these people. You think people judging you. People ain't paying you no mind. People are worried about themselves. People got a lot going on. There's a third people judging me time. Ain't nobody judging you, girl. We
okay.
people are bogged down in their mess.
It's no, it's true. It's true.
So so as we, sort of bring this full circle, you've mentioned the well, a couple times. I promise y'all, I'm not paying her to mention, the things she's pulled and gleaned from the well. But you're now almost 6 months in. You're wrapping up the early entrepreneur growth program. You've had access to like membership and to the resources and the people and all of that are a part of the membership too. And we are, in a space now where we are like opening to new members. What would you say to someone who is where you were 6 months ago or where you were even a year ago about the well and about like what they should do?
I would say that the ROI on the well is well worth it in terms
Mm,
of, having community, having safe space, connection. I know it was something that the connection part is something that I was um, thirsty for, I will say.
mhm,
Because like you said in the beginning, like y'all gonna let me claim Baltimore because I'm not from Baltimore. And so I'm navigating entrepreneurship in like a physical area in which like I'm not from. And so
mhm,
it created a safe space for me to ask questions and kind of get out there and just network. Um,
mhm.
from a learning and an education perspective, I mentioned tracking my own grants, but like it's almost just the Bernice type A thing of trying to gather and put all the same space, but there's an abundance of information in the tools that are provided to us as
Mhm,
members, and then the access to real life people from a education and continue like a continuing education type of perspective,
mhm.
I think is priceless. Because like you said, like, I'm on a call with them. She's like, Metrical. I'm like, girl, tell me more. And they're just giving you the information, right? Where
Yeah,
like my experience the 6 months prior is like, somebody asked me for $500 just to sit down and talk to them. Which, if you got that, good, but if you add a little bit more to that, you'll get more than enough, you know,
yeah,
experience through the well. So I would say figure out a way. It took me 5 years to figure out a way because I remember when I first talked to Nakeia about the well, and I was like, girl, I don't know how to make it work. But I think that everything happens for a reason, and the timing of this was very appropriate for where I am in my entrepreneurship journey. So I would definitely, you know, tell anyone to just figure it out. It's well
yeah,
many
yeah.
manyfold.
It's well worth it. I love it. I love that. I'm still in that, Bernice. We'll pay you for it the first time, and no, I love it. I love it. So how do people find you? If people are interested in the space, if people are interested in how you left corporate America, like how do people find you? How do they get in touch? And yeah, like let's leave them there.
You can find me at berniceramsey.com. My Instagram is Bernice Ramsey as well. And then specifically, if you're looking for an event space, our books are open for the fall of 2024 and beyond. We're Collective Spaces MD as in Maryland.com, and then Collective Spaces MD on all social media platforms.
Awesome. So proud of you, Bernice. So excited for Collective Spaces and with everything else that you're doing. I can't wait to see it. Look just like the renderings online. Y'all go check the renderings out. They look amazing. And very excited for you and your family. Thanks so much for giving me some time today and looking forward to what is next for you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank y'all for joining us. Another Well Women Wednesday. Really excited for Bernice to have been here and for every woman who spends this time with me, sharing her insights with me and with you. I hope you do connect. I hope you do plug in, and then also subscribe to our channel on YouTube at She's Well Networked, and follow us on Instagram at She's Well Networked, and on LinkedIn at The Well Network. All right.
All right.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.